Madam Moderator, as I rise to add my voice to this debate, I think it is prudent for me to start my contribution with a quote by a giant of this Caribbean civilization, whose words written over 50 years ago remain ever so potent and relevant. Walter Rodney, in his seminal work, How Europe Underdeveloped Africa, identified that, quote, the change over from colonialism to neocolonialism had some element of conspiracy in it, end quote. He quoted Pierre Fonsan, the founder of Alliance Française, which coincidentally is across the street, who stated at the beginning of the 20th century, quote, that it is necessary to attach the colonies to the metropole by a very solid psychological bond against the day when their progressive emancipation ends in a form of federation, as is probable, but that they remain French in language, thought, and spirit, end quote. Moderator, contentiously, I say that in the context of the Commonwealth, we, as in the former colonies of Britain, have remained British in language, thought, and spirit, much to our detriment. I can boldly say that we do not support the moot, and therefore contend that the Commonwealth is no longer relevant. For the avoidance of doubt, we consider the Commonwealth to be the organization of 56 independent countries in Africa, Asia, the Americas, Europe, and the Pacific, with that organization having its original incarnation in 1887, not 1931, and its latest reincarnation in 1949. Cambridge Dictionary defines relevant as, quote, correct or suitable for a particular purpose. My colleagues and I intend to show that this organization is no longer suitable for purpose, particular to countries outside the metropole. Allow me to introduce our argument that the Commonwealth is no longer relevant using 3 pillars. 1, there is duplication of function between the Commonwealth and many other organizations, including the United Nations, CARICOM, and the Organization of African and Caribbean and Pacific States, ACP. 2, the dark history of the Commonwealth can never become a bright present or future for the small island developing states or developing countries on the African continent. And 3, the economic benefits we extract from the Commonwealth can be extracted elsewhere, including our own inward quest for better, right here in Trinidad and Tobago and the rest of CARICOM. Moderator, to establish the point of duplication of functions between the Commonwealth and the myriad of other organizations, I wish to state the objectives of 3 major ones: the Commonwealth, the United Nations, and the ACP. And these are all taken from those organizations' websites under the heading, Our Work. The Commonwealth claims that they work to protect the environment and encourage sustainable use of natural resources, boost trade and the economy, support democracy, government, and the rule of law, develop society and young people, and support small states. The UN claims that they work to maintain international peace, protect human rights, deliver humanitarian aid, support sustainable development and climate action, uphold international law. The ACP claims that they work towards sustainable development, consolidation of unity and solidarity, and the establishment and consolidation of peace and stability in a free democratic society. Now, moderator, the reason why I sounded like a broken record there was because all 3 organizations have such tremendous overlap in their functions that the lines of separation and relevance are blurred. Certainly for us here in the Caribbean, there truly cannot be any benefit from the redundancy that arises from these overlaps. And to further buttress my point, I wish to draw your attention to the membership fees of these organizations, at least the ones transparent enough to provide them in any case. For 2022, Trinidad and Tobago paid US $1,062,088, or TT $7,206,380 for its membership in the United Nations. Interestingly, the Commonwealth does not publish similar data, but we do know that there is a cost attached to membership. Madam Moderator, I don't think I need to belabor this point, but I leave the warning of the former Prime Minister of Barbados, Errol Barrow, who declared that his country will not join any club that it could not afford its membership fees. Why should we therefore be the members of 3 clubs that have redundant benefits? Now, moderator, we know that this is a time of recompense, reparation, repatriation, repentance, and restitution. Others might call it the woke era. Whatsoever you may choose to call it, we must all agree that the relevance or the irrelevance of the Commonwealth, for that matter, especially in the present, is deeply rooted in its dark history, a history of exclusion and oppression. The Commonwealth Secretariat, not I, Madam Moderator, stated that the Commonwealth goes back to the British Empire when countries around the world were ruled, this is on the website, by Britain. In 1887, 53 years after emancipation, leaders of the Dominions of Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the Union of South Africa, Eyre, and Newfoundland attended a conference with Britain. In 1926, Ireland and India were included, and this conference established the British Commonwealth of Nations, where all members owed allegiance to the British monarchy, but Britain did not rule over them. In 1947, India became a republic, and it is this phenomenon that resulted in the Commonwealth changing its rules to accommodate republics within their structure, because those republics did not owe their allegiance to the British monarchy. I repeat, the Commonwealth changed its rules to accommodate these countries that did not owe their allegiance to the British monarchy. That seems rather convenient. And in 1949, the modern Commonwealth was born. The modern Commonwealth was born 13 years before any country in the Caribbean became independent. The modern Commonwealth was born 21 years before any country in the Caribbean even thought of becoming a republic and rid themselves of the shackles of the British monarchy. It is a dark history for which the oppressors have not fully apologized or sought forgiveness. In fact, don't you find it passing strange, moderator, that an organization that describes its member states as having equal footing finds itself with such cosmic disparities in wealth and developmental indices? Do you not, Madam Moderator, find it passing strange that India, with the 6th largest economy in the world, is considered a developing country, while the United Kingdom and Canada are considered developed? The major difference between the United Kingdom and India is that at one point in history, the United Kingdom was the colonizer and India was the colonized. To bring the example further home, the landmass of Guyana is almost 2 times the landmass of England, but Guyana has a population 100 times less than that of the United Kingdom, made predominantly of peoples forcefully or dubiously brought to the Americas. The major difference between Guyana and the United Kingdom is that at one point in history, the United Kingdom was the colonizer and Guyana the colonized. Now tell me, moderator, are India and Guyana truly equal in the Commonwealth to the United Kingdom? Can Guyana and India, even with the challenges the United Kingdom placed on them, in the words of the famous Guyanese poet Martin Carter, leap from the oppressor's hate and the scorn of themselves, come to the world with scars upon their souls, wounds on their bodies, fury in their hands, come with their burdens, and to the world of tomorrow turn with their strengths? Moderator, the UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, maiden speech at COP27, answered that very verbose question I just posed, when he simply said that Britain should not pay for the damage it has caused globally. The final point that I want to address is the general lack of economic benefits that Caribbean, African, and Pacific states extract from their presence in the Commonwealth, which in many ways is linked directly to the point previously made, that less developed countries are unequally yoked against so-called global superpowers by dint of a voluntary association that was born out of an oppressor-oppressed relationship. I return to the words of Walter Rodney, who said that the underdevelopment in these countries deals with the comparative economics of those nations. It is the last type of exploitation of greatest interest here. We witnessed this, where preferential trade of bananas in the Caribbean is treated like a sort of seesaw, where preferential treatment is removed by none other than the United Kingdom, our former colonizer and the titular head of the Commonwealth. We are literally backed into a corner, where we can no longer enhance trading relationships with them. It is for this reason why I say that we do not support this moot. Thank you.